I'm not feeling particularly proud of myself at the moment, and it is generally almost impossible to record a video journal from this place. But I thought I'd give it a go, try to express what I'm thinking and feeling in a way that is productive and not just self-destructive. There's a lot of internal emotions and thoughts and memories right now, and I generally get really quiet on the outside when it's really loud on the inside, and I think most of us probably do. Well, maybe not. I have another function, which is just become very loud and distract myself on the outside so that I don't have to feel what's inside. That happens sometimes. I'm taking deeper and deeper responsibility for my reality, and I want to avoid it in all these creative, wonderful ways that I've discovered throughout my life. I know a lot of ways to avoid responsibility. I know a lot of ways to avoid myself. I know a lot of ways to avoid my thoughts and feelings. But I've made a commitment to myself to stop. I've made a commitment to myself to make changes. It doesn't get any easier just because I made the decision. In fact, perhaps in the present moment, I would say it's getting harder. Just keep upping the ante on myself, challenging myself, finding something more difficult. And I'm making decisions. I don't like making decisions from this place when it's turbulent inside of me and I know that I've got a lot of emotions happening at the same time and I'm not feeling great. I feel like I'm prone to make ill-informed decisions when my emotions are chattering away in my ears, metaphorically speaking. I've got to... Okay, so let's get really specific. There's one particular situation. I've got this car and it's cost me probably triple what it's worth just to keep it running, at least. And I have resentment about this because I received this car, or I purchased this car from my stepfather in a moment of need where he was essentially presenting to me that he was doing me a favor, and from the very beginning it was just an absolute nightmare, and he knew what I needed. Like, he knew the expectations for the vehicle, like it needed to be up to certain standards for transporting clients and things like this. Like, it needed to be roadworthy. That would be a good start. And yeah, comfortable and not terrifying and not have constant issues that could cause me to become stranded with complex mental health clients. Anyway, that's all of the emotional stuff speaking there. Like, I'm still grumpy and resentful. I have replaced just about everything on the car. I just did significant work on the engine, and that was like already really frustrating and increased my resentment quite a bit, because it just wasn't worth spending that much money on the car. And I really have wanted to treat myself to a nice, like, comfortable vehicle with all of the like modern luxuries, you know, like not a brand new car, just a nicer car, like not a bomb, not the car that I would expect to be driving on my P plates when I'm 17 years old. And the most frustrating thing about it is I was so close to purchasing a vehicle just like that. But then my dad came to save the day, and I can only blame myself for listening and going along, because I know how it works. This isn't the first time that Dad does something helpful to teach me a valuable lesson. Yes, it would be easy if you just got a nice new car, or a nice like modern car that would just run exactly how you would like it to be, but wouldn't you rather save all of your money and buy a shit box, and then you can fix it up? Like something like that. And this isn't even the only thing in my awareness, but it's already like so clear how heavy it is, like all these things that I haven't dealt with, but I am dealing with it. So I didn't want to spend that money on the car. I did it. I fixed up the engine, and then I got it back, and it's just the wear on the engine is so bad that even after replacing the valve stem seals, like the piston rings are just done. Like, I don't know if you know about cars, but like working on the engine is the last thing in the world that you want to be doing. So I've already gone several times far beyond what I wanted to spend on this car. But I have been, like, in my mind, I've decided, like, I can't let this car defeat me, because then I'll be resentful forever. Like, I'll just remember this as like this huge waste of money that, like, after I wasted all of my money, I still didn't even get what I wanted. Like, I don't want to create that. So I'm at this situation now where I'm like, am I going to buy a whole engine and replace the whole engine? And I have asked for a quote, like, from a mechanic that I know, how much an engine is going to be. And it's just ridiculous, because it's going to end up costing, like, I'm going to end up spending double what I was going to spend on the car that I actually wanted. And am I just proving a point to myself? Am I just feeding this resentment? Am I just like, am I creating all of it? Like, am I just creating excuses to be grumpy at my stepdad? Like, probably. Almost definitely. But there's another piece to this. Like, on the one hand, I don't like making decisions like this in this state, but on the other hand, I have had moments of clarity, and there's a big picture thing that I'm working on at the moment, which is not trying to escape into something like, so just get a new car, just forget about all of the problems and get a new car and start over. I don't want to do that with my life anymore. So, like, I'll get a new car. I'll get exactly the car that I want. But I'm not going to run away from the problems that are showing up in the present moment. I'm going to deal with them. So I'll get this car completely running perfectly smoothly, whatever it takes. Which, yeah, I'm just realizing, like, how unhealthy it is. But it's Have you ever just invested so much into something and it's become like so ridiculously expensive, but it's like just this one more thing. Once I invest one more time, then everything's going to be how I want it to be. Like maybe I should just get rid of it. But it's just crazy how much I've spent on it. And it's definitely like a metaphor for so many other things that I've done in my life. Like just holding on to stuff that's heavy and costing me mentally, emotionally, and financially. I'll make a decision. I'll make a rational, clear-headed decision once I get this next quote. There's a lot of things that I want to do. There's a lot of things where I just want to go, fuck all of this. I just want to go straight into the thing that I actually want. And maybe you can even hear in the words that I'm saying, like, it's like a bit of a battle within me at the moment. Like, maybe that's a good thing to do. Maybe it's a bad thing to do. Like, maybe I just completely ditch my living arrangement and just go straight in, like, go buy a house. Like, that's another bigger version of this. Like, instead of, like, you know, all of these problems and things that I'm having in cheap uni accommodation, sharing with other people and stuff, like, I could just go get a loan, buy a house. I'm stable enough now that I can do that kind of thing. But it just, again, feels like solve the problems that you're actually presented with now. Like, I'm here for a reason now. This stuff that is emerging in my life is emerging for a reason, so that I can learn some lessons, or I would like to believe that. Or my career, like, part of me just wants to walk away from, like, mental health, as in, like, mainstream mental health, and just focus on the healing. Like, just ditch my career, ditch, like, the company that I'm working for, like, ditch all of it, and just go full time into, like, just immerse myself in holographic kinetics and just do that. But again, I feel like with all of these kinds of things, what I'm looking for is, like, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. That's what's actually happening. So it's like, if I got a new car comes with new challenges. If I buy a new house, then a new house is going to come with new challenges. If I change my career dramatically, the change in the career is going to present new challenges, and then I'm going to have to deal with those. Like, so the wild, like, again, like, I don't know how clear-headed I am in the present moment, but, like, where I am with all of this kind of thinking is, if I can't deal with a cheap bomby car, if I can't solve these problems that are cheaper and, like, simpler, like, I can understand an old piece of shit car, I can understand what's wrong, I can understand how to fix it. If I can't deal with problems at this level, what makes me think that jumping up into a higher level, into a more expensive luxury car, or into, like, owning my own house, or into doing a much more complex version of my career, like, what makes me think if I can't solve these simple problems that I'm going to be able to somehow just be better all of a sudden if I just step into the higher possibilities? Like, I don't want to leapfrog stages of my life anymore. As much as it fucking sucks, it feels so slow, man. Relationships, a whole other dimension that's all connected to this that I don't even want to talk about, but I just keep thinking that, yeah, the higher quality connection is going to be so much better. Like, just like a new car, you know, it's going to be so much better. But if you have a higher quality anything, you got higher quality problems, man. You got higher quality challenges. Like, the complexity increases. And maybe even like just comes like so clear in this moment. Like, that is a limiting belief that I have. If I step into like a higher quality thing, then the complexity is going to increase and I worry that I can't handle it. When maybe actually this whole time I could have just bought the car that I wanted and it would have been great. In fact, I doubt that a newer car would have come with so many issues. I doubt that living in it, like if I lived in a bigger, nicer space, not necessarily needing to go out and get a loan and buy a house right now, but if I just even stepped into something a little bit greater, like it's going to give me more room to grow and expand. I really don't enjoy recording my thoughts and feelings when they're like, I feel really vulnerable. Like when I'm like, I'm not doing this life thing very well. Let's talk about it. Oh. But at the same time, probably makes more sense to talk about challenges and things than it does to just make a bunch of content where you're saying, just do this and then you will have a perfect life and it will be easy peasy and everybody will love you. That's not the kind of content that really resonates sometimes. Sometimes we need to see somebody else who's like, you know what, fucking shut up. And I'd like to change it. This is what I'm contemplating at the moment. Maybe we can have some insights together and then we can make changes. Oh, I don't know though. I'm pretty confident on one thing that out of all of this, and that's that I want to solve the problems at the level that I'm at. I don't want to try to run away from lower level problems into higher level problems, because there's something about that. Like, if I can't deal with this old simpler car, like I don't want to try to deal with a more complex modern car with more complex modern problems. And somehow that links to everything else that's going on in my life. And I'm not sure if it's a limiting belief that's holding me back, or if I'm actually growing and learning a valuable lesson about being actually at the level that you're at and not trying to like rush through life and leapfrog all of the important development that you need to go through to really be solid in your creation. There's no rush. There's a rush element behind all of it. Like, I just want all the cool shit to happen now. And it's probably a bit of deflated ego that's impacting on the way that I'm seeing all of this, because it sucks to have a piece of shit car, and it sucks to have a shitty living arrangement, and it sucks to have a career that isn't what you want it to be. So that's why I guess I don't feel proud of myself as well, like, because I have these expectations that I could just do everything better. I could just step into all of these things that I want, but I am where I am, and I need to face the reality as it is. And then I'm sure once I stop looking at the grass that's greener on the other side of the fence and I actually look at mine and start to think about why it's not greener, maybe I can water it, maybe I can fertilize it, maybe I can take better care of it. And then before I know it, my reality will become what I want it to be. That sounds pretty good. we'll leave it there, eh? If you get anything out of these videos, please pass them on to anybody else you know who may benefit. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave your comments down below. Love to hear your thoughts and feelings in the present moment. And check out kailives.com.